Hello, this is Reverend Angelia with today's Bible reading. Excuse me. Today's reading comes from Hebrews 7, Jesus like Melchizedek. If perfection could have been attained through the Levitical priesthood, for on the basis of it the law was given to the people by God in the Old Testament, why was there still need for another priest to come? One in the order of Melchizedek, not in the order of Aaron. For when there is a change of the priesthood, there must also be a change of the law. He of whom these things are said belonged to a different tribe, and no one from that tribe has ever served at the altar. For it is clear that our Lord descended from Judah, and in regard to that tribe Moses said nothing about priests. And what we have said is even more clear if another priest like Melchizedek appears. One who has become a priest not on the basis of a regulation as to his ancestry, but on the basis of the powers of an independent, indestructible life. For it is declared, "You are a priest forever, in the order of Melchizedek." The former regulation is set aside because it was weak and useless. For the law made nothing perfect. And, scholars debate about this, religious scholars. But personally, from what I have studied, I feel like God in the Old Testament and in other Old Testament religions was teaching humans how to be better people. That we were this sinful group of people and we had free will and we were exercising that free will. So God laid out these laws for us. Hey, don't do this, 10 things to begin with. I said, I put up 5 hands, but it's 10. You know what I meant. But anyway, and then, of course, he went into Leviticus and expounded on that. That was because people didn't know what the rules were, because everybody had kind of fallen from grace and they didn't know what the rules were. So in the Old Testament, God laid out the rules, trying to help people live by the rules. But then, because people have free will, the rules became a stumbling block onto people. And, especially Jesus kind of pointed out the scribes and the Pharisees were using the rules as a stumbling block for people, to take them down, like they wanted to. And, that's just petty and jealousy and meanness. So Jesus had to come, to be able to save people from themselves, basically, so that they could see a prime example of how God wanted us to live, how to live a sinless life and be perfect. But he also said none of us are going to be perfect. No, not one. Because all have fallen short of the grace of God. So, some people wonder, why should I try? Because you should. You should try to be like Jesus. And even though you'll never be perfect, you should perfect yourself. And a better hope is introduced, which is Jesus, by which we draw near to God. And it was not without an oath. Others became priests with an oath. But he became a priest with an oath when God said to him, "The Lord has sworn and will not change his mind. You are a priest forever." Because of this oath, Jesus has become the guarantee of a better covenant. So all the old covenants God made with people, Jesus is the new one. Jesus is the better covenant that, people have reached a certain point where, okay, now we can move on. Now there have been many of those priests, since death prevented them from continuing in the office. But because Jesus lives forever, he has a permanent priesthood. Therefore, he is able to save completely those who come to God through him, because he always lives to intercede for them. He's our, defense attorney, if you want to call it that. Some people do, based on old song, and, I think that's a good description. Such a high priest meets our need. One who is holy, blameless, pure, set apart from sinners, exalted above the heavens. Unlike the other high priests, he does not need to offer sacrifices day after day, because he was the sacrifice. First for his own sins, and then for the sins of the people. He sacrificed for their sins once for all when he offered himself upon the cross. For the law appoints as high priests men who are weak. But the oath, which came after the law, appointed the Son, who has been made perfect forever. And that's all for now. Until next time.